All right, so now that you've got your campaign settings and all that done, as we just shown you in the last module, the next thing is we need to create our ad group. This is where we actually start creating our ad, as well as we start importing or adding our keywords so we can start driving the traffic. So this is the screen you're going to get, which is your ad group setting page. And there's a couple ways that you get there. Once you hit the submit button for your settings, you're going to get here. The other way that you can do that is inside of your campaign tab. You can click on add an ad group and you will see that also. So let me hit the back button and show you what that looks like. So we're inside our campaign. The campaign is Fat Burner, which we set up. Once we're in here, we have different tabs. We have ad groups, settings, ads, keywords, audiences, ad extensions, and dimensions. So we can click on any of these at any time. We can filter, we can do a lot of things. We can also come right here and click on add an ad group. And this is where we do that. By the way, once you set up your campaign, you don't have to fund that account. Again, this is a test account, so we'll probably fund it at some point, but I've got so many of them right now, I just don't need this one. So this is what you're going to see, because that's Google's way of telling you, hey, add money here. So let's click on add ad group. It takes us to exactly what you see here. We're going to name this ad group. Now again, this is how you start to organize your campaign. So for me, this could be ad group for fat burners. It could be ad group for calorie recipes. It could be ad group for diet. So in this case, it's just going to be fat burners. Okay, so that is my ad group name. Again, it's just a name to help keep me organized. Google says, what type of ad are you going to create? As you're starting out, a lot of these are advanced ads. You don't need these right now. What you want to go with is a text ad. Okay, you want to go with a text ad, and that's it. So let's come up with our headline. So let's call this Weird Weight Loss Trick. Since our ad is fat burners, let's do these. These fat burners work. Now, why did I want to do that? Number one, again, remember the keyword in the ad, in the headline, even in the body, it's going to give me a much better click-through rate, number one, but I'm also going to get a much better quality score from Google. So these fat burners work. If you remember from our module on writing your ads, what are these fat burners? You have no idea. Okay, so let's go ahead and write our ad. So let's do number one, weird fat burner actually melts fat faster than dieting alone. Now, this is good ad. These fat burners work. Number one weird fat burner actually melts fat faster than dieting alone. I mean, grammar is a little bit off, but you know, that's okay. You get the point of what we're doing. Our ad, let's see if www.fatburners.com. We're just going to make this. We're not going to make this live. I don't want to put a domain that's not live or real and then save this campaign because I don't want to have any issues with Google. So our display URL is www.fatburners.com. Used to be you can capitalize all the letters, but you can't anymore. So here's what we're going to do. In our display URL, we can actually turn this into advertising as well. So let's put get it now, right? So fatburners.com/get it now. even though Get It Now may not really exist on your website, you can put it here. Google knows that it's going to take them to your destination URL. So display URL is what they see in the browser. So when someone goes into Google and you do a search, display URL is what they see. Destination URL is where Google is actually going to take them to. So let's say you're using some kind of an ad tracker. The real link might be fatburners.com/ad tracker/landing page. This is where they're actually going to get to when they click on your link. But what they see is Get It Now. Now I'm gonna tell you something else that is good. In your destination URL, if it's not landing page, but fat burner page, the fact that you have fat burner in there, again, is gonna increase your quality score. Google likes to see that the URL is in the destination URL. Now, there's a URL that you really don't see here, and that is this link here is your ad tracker. So watch this. Let's copy this link. Let's go to our Word document. We've got display URL. We got destination URL, and then we have landing page. So our display URL is www.fatburners.com/get it here. Our destination URL is what we just copied. That's this. Let's just put a hyphen in there just so we can see this a little bit better. In our landing page, for many people, it's going to be your destination URL, could be the landing page. But what if I don't want people to see this long ad tracking URL? So this ad tracker may just redirect to www.fatburners.com/my site. Now, here's the important thing. This link here has to be a real URL. Right? Not only does it have to be a real URL, the root part of your URL or your domain, which is fatburners.com, must match the root URL of the display URL. So this link could be, watch this, myadtracker.com. So your destination URL, you're telling Google when they click on this link here, fatburners.com/get it here, redirect it to this link. Even though myadtracker.com is not my domain name, it's an ad tracking service that I'm using, but the final landing place for the customer has to be somewhere on fatburners.com. Why? Because I told Google in the display, fatburners.com is the URL that we want to show them. That's where we want to have them land at. Now, anything after the / and anything after here, they don't have to be the exact same. As long as the root URL is there, you are fine. So what does that mean? You can use an ad tracker or some other third-party service as your tracking mechanism, which redirects to your final landing page. So let's go back here. So in this case, we've got our ad tracker, and then what we're going to do in our final page, fat burner. See, that's even better than having it in the ad tracker. If the final URL has fat burner, that's even better. If you can't get it in the final URL, get it in the destination URL if possible. Now, once we do that, so here's our ad. These fat burners work. www.fatburners.com/get it now. Number one, weird fat burner actually melts fat faster than dieting alone. And so now we've got our ads done. This is what it's going to look like on the right-hand side. This is what it's going to look like across the top. If we were going to add ad extensions, this is where it's telling you to take a tour, but we're not adding ad extensions. Now we get to add our keywords. Now, let me show you the mistake that most people make. they go in and they take a bunch of keywords like this, and there's 1,000 of them, and then they go into Google, and then they just do copy and paste. So they've got weight loss, lose weight, diet, fat burner, calorie counter. You've got all these keywords, which, yes, these keywords are good, but it's a hodgepodge of keywords that are totally unrelated and does absolutely nothing for your quality score. So what you want to do is this. Instead of having a hodgepodge, you want to have this. You want to go into Google and, whoops, notice how my keywords are fat burner, best fat burners, what are fat burners, fat burner ideas. Notice I've got some singular, I've got some plural. It's all the same. Tips for fat burners, my fat burners. All right. So these are the keywords that I've entered in, but we don't have match type. Remember in the last module, we talked about match types and understanding what match types are. We don't want, whoop, we've got a little typo there. And by the way, this letter here is capitalized, doesn't matter, but I like to keep it all lowercase. This one's a capital F, doesn't matter. Keep it lowercase. So now let's copy and let's show you how we set up the match type for the keywords now. So let's go here. We typed in our keywords, right? So what we want to do is add the exact match and the phrase match. You don't need to mess with broad match right now, not until you've got your campaigns working. So what you want to do here is let's add the exact match for each keyword. Open bracket, close bracket, 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 open bracket, close bracket. That's our exact match. Now let's do phrase match. Parenthesis, parenthesis, whoops. Parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. These are the same keywords except in phrase match. If you haven't gone through that module yet, make sure you do that. Just take the spaces out of there. Microsoft Word will add these spaces. If you do this in text file or in Excel, you will be fine. In Excel, one of the things you can do is just put your keyword in the middle column, and on the left-hand side, you can put your open bracket. On the right-hand side, put your close bracket, and then what you do is just join the cells. You can do a Google search or a YouTube search to learn how to join cells in Excel, and that will do that for you. So here's my keywords now. So I've got all my keywords entered in. Fat burner, best fat burners. I've got it in both phrase as well as in exact. And then what we're going to do is, don't worry about estimating traffic, is you set your default bid. This is going to set your bid for the ad group as a whole, but you can actually go in and edit your default bid for your keywords individually. Let's say we set the default bid to 15 cents. Okay, and now what we can do is save and continue to billing. So we're not going to be adding billing, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you something in terms of ad tracking. There's a couple of things that you can do with your ad tracking. So one of them is we've got the fat burner camp ad group, right? Let's cut these out. You can get as detailed as you want or not as detailed as you want with the ad tracking. So let's call this fat burner exact campaign. So this is our fat burner exact campaign. We want to save. Let's do that. We'll save this at 15 cents. Okay, so what is it doesn't like? So as you can see here, it doesn't like the word fat burners. And that's because ephedra, ephedrine, these types of products are known as that. So let's just go in and just replace the word fat burner with something else. Let's go and let's copy our keywords first of all. Let's go to Notepad. Control, find, let's do edit, replace burner with eliminator. Sometimes it's all you need to do. And replace, there we go. So our campaign now becomes Fat Eliminator. No such thing as a fat eliminator, but I just want to show you that what you would do if you ever ran into this. So let's call this the Fat Eliminator campaign, because I certainly don't want to do anything in fat burners and have Google be mad at me. Okay, now obviously that doesn't make sense, but eliminators. Number one weird, eliminators actually melts fat. Eliminator. And let's actually do something. Let's make this about.com. Now, the reason I do that is because once I hit submit, Google is going to say, hey, this page doesn't exist. So let's go to about.com and let's get a ooh, does that look good or what? We're going to use this link as our destination. Let's use it for all of them. I'm going to use it for our destination. It's too long. Okay. Let's go back to about.com. Weight loss. Let's just take this link. That's what we'll use. Okay. Let's now save and continue. See if we get any errors. Okay, so went through no problem. Now let's do this. I'm going to show you what we're going to do from a tracking standpoint. So we're in a campaign. We have one ad group. Now we're going to create another ad group. So why create another ad group versus adding more keywords? Because we can track it separately. So let's add the ad group. And what you'll see is a lot of times the text from your last ad is still there. So all we now have to do is take our new set of keywords and just paste that in. So let's take our keywords. Now this is fat eliminator phrase. This is our phrase match campaign. Everything is going to be the same. The only thing we've done differently is we've just went from exact match to phrase. So when we look at our conversions, when we look at how well the ad is doing, we're going to be able to tell which campaign is working better. Are the phrase match keywords working? Are the exact match keywords working? And we can tell exactly which one is working for us. So let's save and continue. Did that save? Oh, we forgot to put our bid. 0.15 cents. Save and continue. Let's go back to campaigns. Go back to our ad groups. So here's our two ad groups. Look, fat burner search, fat burner exact, right? So the campaign is search, but the group is search, and it's phrase, and exact is the group. Now, if we have conversion tracking turned on, which I will show you in a second, in here you'd have a column that says conversions. So you would see we got 100 clicks, 5 sales, so 5% conversion. 100 clicks, 0 sales, 0% conversion. So we would know the fat eliminator phrase campaign is just not working. So what you then would do is you'd come in here and you would click on this and pause this campaign. Because if it's not converting, we don't need that in our campaign. So the next thing that we're going to do is let me show you how you're going to split test your ads. So let's open up Fat Eliminator Exact. We're in here, and here is our ad. So this is the ad that we just created, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new text ad. So in this text ad, we're saying to ourselves, okay, let's test some different things. Let's start with, instead of these, best. And although I'll tell you, best is the word that Google doesn't like in the ad. So you might say top fat eliminators. Well, how about this? Let's make it make sense. How fat eliminators work. We don't want to change a lot of things in the ad. We just want to change one variable at a time. And let's save this and show you what happens now. Now that we save this, we've got two ads. We've got how fat eliminators work and these fat eliminators work. One of these ads is going to be better than the other. We just don't know which one it is. And since we don't know which one it is, let's let the customer tell us. So Google, based on the settings that I showed you earlier, is going to rotate these ads evenly. Half are going to go here and half are going to go here. And when you look at your click-through rates, you're going to see this one has a 5% click-through rate where this one may have a 1% click-through rate. Well, in that case, we don't want to run this ad because it's got a lower click-through rate. Okay. Now, the other trick that I'm going to show you now, this is very, very important. And that is this. You never want to split test your ads 50-50 like this. So when I'm first starting a campaign, let me show you what I'm going to do. We're going to create a new text ad. Save. We're going to create, did it save it? Yep. Let's create a new text ad. Save. Now, what do we have here? We've got 4 text ads. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, why did I do that? Here's the reason why. Let's open up a notepad and show you why we just did that. If I have 2 ads, ad number 1 and then ad number 2. Let's say you are making 10 sales a day on your campaign, right? So you're making 10 sales a day. So let's say, for example, let's not say you have 2 ads. Let's say you've got 1 ad. You're making 10 sales a day, $100 a sale. So you're making $1,000 a day off of this ad. You decide that you want to create a second ad to test. Now, let's say this ad is wildly successful. It was getting you 10 ads, 10 sales a day. Now you're splitting the traffic 50-50. So this ad now is only making 5 sales a day. Why? Because half of the traffic is going to ad number 2 now. Now guess what? Ad number 2 is an absolute dog. It's not working. So you went from 10 sales a day down to 5 sales a day because of this split test. So this one is getting 0 sales a day. So how do you fix that problem? Well, the easiest way to fix that problem is when you set up your campaign, you set up 4 identical ads. So each ad, even though they're the same ad, is getting 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So this ad is making 2.5 sales. This one is making 2.5 sales. This ad is making 2.5 sales. And this ad is making 2.5 sales. So now you've got your 4 ads already created. Now we're going to split test. So with the split test, what we want to do is we want to create a new ad. Here's the reason why. Once you create an ad, it has to go through an approval process, or if you change your ad, it has to go through an approval process. And sometimes that could be a day, sometimes that could be 3 days. So if I come in here and I change something in this ad, it's got to go through an approval process. And that approval process could take a couple days. So you lose all your traffic while you're waiting for that approval process. So what we do now is, instead of going through the approval process, we tell Google, here's a new ad. So we create ad number 5, which right now it's got 0 traffic. It's got nothing going on. Once this ad is approved, we then go in to Google and we pause one of our ads. Let's pause it. Once this ad is paused, we've got the new ad becomes active. So now this ad possibly could be getting 2.5 sales, which is 25%. If this ad is a dog and it's making 0 sales, now look at what we just lost. Did we lose half of our sales? No, we only lost 25% of our sales because we only have this one ad as a dog right now. The other 3 are still generating sales. So it's very important that you never edit your ad. You create a new one. Once the new ad is active, then you go in and pause or delete the old one. And here's another reason why you never delete an ad also, or never edit an ad. Because if we find that this ad is a dog, it's just not working. So here's what we can do. We can pause this ad. We can come back to this ad and say, well, this one was generating 2.5. The new one was generating 0. Let's unpause it. Let's re-enable the ad. So if you deleted that ad previously, you can go ahead and recreate the ad, of course, but you also lose the history of that ad. And the longer your ads run, the cheaper your costs are going to be. So that is how you create your ads and you do the split testing. Now I'm going to show you one other thing when it comes to creating your campaign. So let's go back to the campaign tab. And then we are in settings. Let's go to all online campaigns. Go to our ad groups tab. So the other thing you can do when you're starting out your campaign is this. You don't have to have all of the keywords that I showed you here, right? You can come in here and, let's pause this one. Whoops. Come on. We can pause. Now remember I said sometimes you could just use the main keyword. So let's do a campaign with buy fat burner, and I'm making this up. So buy fat burner, which is a very obvious keyword. If buy fat burners didn't convert, chances are some of the other keywords would not convert. So you may have just this one keyword in here that you say, that's the only keyword in my ad group. See, you don't have to create an ad group with 1,000 keywords. Go with one. Once you've got it working, so each ad group would be another keyword. So we may create another ad group that is, let's go here. So we can create another ad group that is just the keyword. So let's say this ad group would be, and I'm making this up, weight loss tips. My keyword in here is just weight loss tips. And then I'll put my brackets for exact. And that's all we have. I've got some campaigns where I'll have just weight loss tips as exact, and I'll set up another ad group with weight loss tips as phrase. And the reason I do that is because I want to track how each individual keywords are performing. When you've got a very high volume keyword, you may want to track it individually versus on the group level. So let's go back to the group and see if there's anything we missed that I want to make sure that you walk away with here. All right, let's go. Let's cancel this here. There we go. Okay, so again, this is our ad group. This is where you can take a quick look and see what your campaigns are doing. Here's your click-through rate. Here's impressions. Here's your clicks. Here's what you're paying per click. And here's what your total costs are. Here's what your average positions are. So a lot of times you may increase your bids to see what happens to your average position. If you change your bid here, we're at the ad group level. If you change your bid here, what will happen is all your keywords will also change to whatever this bid is. So I can just do that, click on it, and it changes the bid. Or I can click on the ad group, get into the campaign, and I can change these individually. So I can change this one to 10, and I can change this one to 0.25. Whoops, other one didn't change. Now, once I do that, right, so they're individual, when I am at the ad group level, if I change the bid here, it will not affect any of the changes. So at this level, the change won't be effective anymore because I've got individual bids on the actual domains itself. Now, again, we can pause individual domains. We can add individual domains. Now, I'm going to show you a keyword that you want to add now to your groups. So let's add some keywords. So here's where we can add keywords. So you already have an existing group, right? Now we want to add keywords. So we're going to click on add, and I'm going to show you something called the negative match. Now, as you can see here, Google is very smart. They're already giving us suggestions. And of course they are, because they want us to add these keywords. These aren't necessarily good keywords. They're just telling you what they are. You have already done your research, so you should know what is good for you. But watch this. This is called the negative match. So let me tell you what the negative match is. So the negative match is free. So if someone were to go into Google and they typed in, even though we're bidding on fat burner in phrase, if someone types in free fat burners, our ad will not show. If you put in negative fat burner drugs, and if someone types in fat burner drugs, your ad will not show to that person, because what you're saying is, I don't sell fat burner drugs, so I don't want those people to see my ad. And if anyone is looking for free fat burners, I don't want to show them my ad. You may also go general and just say the word free. If they type in anything with the word free, I don't want my ad to show. So here we can type in the word negative and free. We save that, and that becomes a negative search. So that search, that keyword is listed there. You can also add negative phrases on your campaign as a whole. So if you've got a whole list of keywords that you think for every one of your ad groups you don't want these to show, you can add your negative keywords on your campaign level as well. So let me show you a couple tools here that you're going to want to look at here. Let me show you how to add conversions. And so here's what conversion tracking is. You want to track, is this keyword turning into sales or not? So you go into Google and you create what's called a conversion pixel. So let's add a conversion. So let's click on add conversion. Conversion name is, and again, you could be tracking your opt-in, you could be tracking sales and orders. So let's call this FB for Fat Burner orders. Now, what do we want to track? Did they call the site? Was it mobile? We want to see web traffic. Let's click on save and continue. And so let's track the, so a couple things is, conversion category. In this case, we're looking at purchase. Could be sign up, could be lead. Now look at this, folks, sign up and lead. So when you ask yourself the question, will Google allow us to do opt-ins? Yes. You just have to do it the right way, the way that I've showed you. So let's go purchase. How long do we want this cookie to last? Do we want to track whether they buy within 24 hours of them visiting the website, or if they come back in a couple weeks? Depends on what your autoresponder sequence is. If your autoresponder sequence is 7 or 10 days, well, you may want to come back and set this to a week or 2 weeks, right? So let's just for now say 2 weeks. And do we want to count all conversions or unique? So in other words, if they bought 2 items for you, do you want to count that as twice? The answer is no. You want to use unique conversions for this, right? So if they come back and buy something, or maybe they buy your upsells, you don't want to throw your numbers off. So let me show you what'll happen. 100 people visit your website. Person comes in, they buys your product. 1 person buys, you've got a 1% conversion rate. If they turn around and buy a secondary product from you, so now they landed on your thank you page twice, it would count as two conversions. So when you look at your analytics, that keyword may show this has got a 2% conversion rate. And you're thinking, man, my cost per conversion is only $25 and I spent, and my profit is $100. This is awesome. But reality is your cost per conversion is really $50 and you made $50 because it's the same person. So now each conversion has the same value. Each conversion could have a different value. So, you can, if you want to track the value, in other words, if you want to actually use the numbers, you can enter this here. It's up to you. And if you want it as HTML or, some other things, Google site status notification, this stuff here, I just leave as is. I never touch it. So notification layout. And what I like to do here, you can keep it as 2 lines. If you've got a background for your web page, you want to match this, because what the pixel image is a one pixel image that people really aren't going to see it. But if you've got a black background, you don't want that one little white dot sitting there. So you match this to your website, and this is what it'll say here: Google Site Stats. I've never tried to delete that. I wonder if we can. Here we go. Do not add notification. So I really don't want people to see what that is. So then you click on save and continue. And it's going to give you a code. You're then going to take that code and you're going to add it to your thank you page. All right, it's asking us to save a conversion. Don't assign a conversion value. Now click and continue. Someone else will make my codes. I make changes to my codes myself. This is the code. You're going to take this and you're going to save it typically towards the bottom of your web page, right? Right before, if it's HTML, I like to put it right before the ending body tag. If you're using WordPress, you can put it in the footer. You can have your web designer do it. You don't have to do this. Just email the code to your web designer and let your web designer handle this. So this is how you create the conversion tracking. Now, once you do that, once you come to your campaign dashboard, what you're going to see is, here's your campaign. You're going to see that converted clicks. That's what that number is. Cost per conversion. This number is important, your cost per conversion. Let me tell you why. If you find that you're spending $1 per click and you're selling a $100 product, you make one sale, that means your cost per conversion is $100. If you make 3 sales, that means your cost per conversion is $30, right? So you spent $33. You spent $100. You made 3 sales, so it's costing you $33. So you know what your profitability is. You know you're making $100 on the product, but it's costing you $33. So you know it's profitable. If you made 1 sale and your cost per conversion is $100 and it costs you $100, you know you're break even. That's what this number tells you here, and this number tells you your conversion rate, the percentage of people who bought the product. So once you click on the campaign, now I start to see the same numbers, but on an ad group level. This is showing me what this particular ad group is doing. So I know whether this ad group is profitable or this ad group is profitable. Now, here's the other thing that you may find. We click on the actual ad group. Now let's look at the same numbers on a keyword level. So I may find that this ad group as a whole is not profitable, but this keyword is amazingly profitable, and these 3 keywords are amazingly unprofitable. So what do? We delete the keywords. Either we delete the keywords or we lower the bids, right? Sometimes increasing the bid may actually increase your sales, because what you may find is these keywords you're losing money on, but you're in position number 3. So when it shows you position, do we have position turned on? Okay. So in this case, we don't have average position turned on, but you can do that. And all you do is you click on columns, customize your columns, and here's what we have in our columns. So let's add, no, we do have average position in there. Did I miss it? Let's scroll here. Click-throughs, conversion. Oh, there it is, average position. So let's say in this case, we want to take out average position. All we have to do is, let's remove this one. Let's remove cost, for example. And as we do that, we can apply, and you can see some of our tabs here are gone. So you can add and remove things as you need them. So now we can look at and say, okay, this one here is an average position 4. Let's see what happens if we move this to average position 1. So we don't know what average position 1 is, but let's increase our bid to 20 cents. Now let's say that puts us in average position 1. So here's what can happen in Google. So let's go to Google and let's do a search for weight loss. So this is position 1, carwash.org, very interesting, for a weight loss ad. This is position number 5. So 100 people typed in weight loss. 80 of them clicked here, and the rest of the people were the looky-loos. They were the people who were just looking, really not buying, just kind of looking. So you're getting all the people who are just the looky-loos. So the question is, even though this may be 50 cents a click here, this one may be 80 cents a click, but all the money is here. Wouldn't you rather pay 80 cents a click and get a 4 or 5% conversion rate than pay 50 cents a click and get a less than half of 1% conversion rate? It's not going to convert at 50 cents, but at the 80 cents to $1, it'll convert. So you have to test what happens to my sales at different positions at different price points. And that's exactly what you're going to look at when you're looking at your numbers here under the keyword level. So this is how you create a search campaign. You're taking your keywords, you're adding them in, and then you're letting Google then send your traffic. Once you hit submit, you're going to go through the approval process. Again, it can be as little as a couple hours, or it can be as much as a week. If you find a week goes by, it's not turned on, what you want to do is log into your account, scroll to the bottom, and look for, where is that help tab? You want to look for the help tab, which I'm not seeing. Normally it's down here. It could be because I haven't activated the account, so they don't want to help me in this one. But it's usually down here, and you just click on help, and then there will be a contact us button that you would use to submit a ticket to say, hey, my ad is not showing what's going on. If you find your ad is not showing, you can also come in here and go to the ad preview diagnostic. This is how you can find out really if there's a problem with your ad or what. So what you're going to do is you type in your keyword. I'm bidding on fat burner ideas. And here's the domain. Here's our location. Everything is good. And you're telling Google preview. See, it says your ad isn't running. And so my ad is not running, and it'll tell you why in a lot of cases. Sometimes it could be you've done this mistake or this is going on, and it'll tell you. So, but if you don't see it here for sure, then you know that your ad is not running. You need to go do something else. If it shows here and it may say your ad is not running because of low bid, then you can increase your bid. So this is how you set up the search campaign. This is the first campaign that you are going to set. And this is, as you can see, it's not a complicated one to do, very easy. And then you just expand out your campaigns. Start with 1 or 2 little ad groups. Once you've got them working, your sales is coming in, your website is converting, boom, let's start adding more ad groups. As we use the keyword filter tool, you notice we had lots and lots of ad groups. Now you start adding them one at a time. Start adding more, and that's all you need to do.